Harun, welcome. I'm Uday Pratap Singh. You're joining us on a brand new edition of NewsX India A-List. Our big guest today, of course, is Sharvari Wagh. Yes, this show is our endeavor to bring forth the stories of some of India's finest and brightest. Today, we've put together yet another unmissable lineup of India's who's who. Well, our first interview today, as I was just telling you, is with actor Sharvari. She made her film debut with Bunty Aur Bubbly 2, which released last year and got her rave reviews. She earlier had started in the web series The Forgotten Army, which was directed by Kabir Khan. Sharvari will be next seen in YRF's Maharaja. Listen in to this conversation I had with her.
Known for her recent debut in Bunty and Bubbly 2.
Fashion icons really well. Yeah, that's actually been my memory with the first part.
She will be next seen in YRF's Maharaja.
The fawning bit, the prosthetic bit, I think that's something that really stood out.
NewsX India A-List proudly recognizes Sharvari Wagh for excellence in acting.
Hello, welcome. I'm Uday Pratap Singh. You're joining us on this special interview as part of our NewsX A-List series. We're in conversation today with the actor Sharvari. Sharvari, welcome to NewsX. Thank you so much for being with us.
Hi, thank you so much.
Well, it's the start of course, 2022, but we're going to be talking about the year that's coming up and what's coming up for you. But first, we have to talk about the year gone by because it's truly been special, hasn't it? So, looking back at 2021, how's the year been for you? The year in which, you made your big film debut, big on-screen debut.
Yeah. For me, 2021 has, it feels like it's just been the beginning, because in a true sense, it was my film's release. It was the first film that I ever did on the big screen. Yeah. And I've waited for this day for so long that it felt like things have just begun. And I'm very excited getting into 2022 because now that I have a certain amount of work that has been done in films, I'm really excited to see what this year has in store for me.
Okay, well, just talking now about Bunty Aur Bubbly 2, it's an iconic a film which, we all loved and appreciated, of course. I'm talking about the first one and, of course, the second one, both of them. But for you, when just taking you back into memory lane, when you got offered this part, when you got offered Bunty Aur Bubbly 2, what was running through your mind then? Had you seen the first when it had released or did you rewatch it? What were your thoughts?
When the first part released, I was only 8 years old. So I remember that I watched it much later, but I remember watching it many times growing up because it was one of those films, if it's going on TV, then, you cannot not watch it. Yeah. And back in the day, the whole family would sit and then watch something. So it was one of those films which you could watch with an entire family. So I remember that we used to watch the film so many times at my house. I remember very particularly that we were obsessed with her clothes. We were obsessed with Rani Man's clothes. My sister and I used to go to the tailor and we used to get those collared kurtas stitched. And I remember all over Bandra, they would be selling those jholas, which had abla work on it. So I remember these like fashion icons really well. Yeah, that's actually been my memory with the first part.
Okay. And, as far as, of course, the sequel was concerned, what were your thoughts? Because as I said, it is your debut project. You have, of course, done The Forgotten Army, but this was going to be your film debut, your on-screen debut. So what were your thoughts? Were you so happy that it was going to be with Yash Raj Films and, in this manner with an iconic brand name? What were you thinking?
I think for me, the biggest part about doing something like Bunty Aur Bubbly was one, of course, that I had finally landed a film. I think that was the first thought that went through my mind because I had been auditioning for the last 7 years and I had only gotten Forgotten Army, and then there was almost 2 years gap between that and Bunty Bubbly. Yeah. So when I finally got the film, I was really excited to be a part of a film in the first place.
Mm.
Of course, the fact that I was getting to be a part of a Yash Raj film, I was getting to be in the Yash Raj family in all its true sense, meant a great deal for someone like me, because maneuvering around the industry becomes easier when you have someone like a Yash Raj behind you. And I think for me, the script really stood out, especially because the part that Siddhant and I played had so many different characters, had so much opportunity to showcase our talent and to showcase our craft, because we were not just playing people our age group. I've played a lady who's probably 60 years old. I've played a girl who's 20. I've played, there have been so many different characters that these are the things you don't often get to be a part of in your first film.
Yeah.
So I think I was really excited about that bit, and the conning bit, the prosthetic bit. I think that's something that really, really stood out for me.
Yeah, the film, of course, released, and you got a lot of appreciation from audiences. Luckily, you could have a theatrical debut, because
Yes.
things were fine at that time.
Yeah.
Now, of course, it's being loved on OTT as well, because it's out and people are watching it, I'm sure, again and again and again. So, what has been the
Right.
response for you? What was the best compliment you've received? Who did it come from? And how was, the response to the movie?
Overall, the response has been really, really heartwarming,
Mhm.
because I think a lot of people have been messaging me after watching this film on Amazon Prime, and the fact that because we use so many accents in our in the prosthetics and the cons that we did, a lot of people told me that, oh, we didn't know that you're not we didn't know you're not of this language, or we didn't know you're not of this religion. Like someone thought I was Punjabi, someone thought I was Maharashtrian. So the best part for us as an actor is that if people bought into that,
Yeah.
then we kind of did our job well.
True.
And the biggest compliment that I've received was from Rekha ji. She actually called me after watching the film, and she told me that I have not seen in a long time someone light up the screen like you have. And for me, it meant such a big deal, because at the end of the day, if Rekha ji is taking out those 5 minutes to even call me and give me a compliment, it means the world to me.
Yeah, no doubt. Well, that's huge coming from a legend like her. But
Yeah.
as far as, of course, working with the team is concerned, as you said, you had seen the original film, you had emulated a lot of what Rani Mukherjee was wearing. So how was it like working with her, and of course working also with Saif, working with Siddhant? How was it on sets for you?
With Rani ma'am and Saif sir, to be honest, it was one of those, it's like once in a lifetime kind of an opportunity that new actors like us get. And to get to learn from them and to see the kind of enthusiasm, the excitement that they have and they bring every day to work. For someone like me, it was my first film. So it's obvious that I was going to get really excited. But the amount of excitement and the amount of hard work that they put, even today, after so many years of seeing ups and downs, I think that's something so credible and something that I learned at the beginning of my career. And apart from that, they're just two really, really fun people who love making other people laugh, who love doing this tang khichai amongst the entire crew. So I think it just kind of became like a family, and we really had such a great time shooting together.
Okay. Well, one last question, Sharvari, before we move on, of course, on one scene which really stood out for a lot of people, and it got talked about a lot, which was, of course, your scene coming out of the water, the
Yes.
bikini scene as well, which, of
Yes.
course, was being compared a lot to Priyanka Chopra,
Yes.
in Gustana. So, how was the
Yes.
prep like for that scene, and did you also have Priyanka in your mind, as well?
Strangely, when you say it, we did not think of the fact that this would look like Priyanka Chopra's scene. I don't think it came to anybody's mind till we actually shot it, and the day that we were shooting it, and then we just realized that, oh my god, it's like very similar to her swimsuit. And we went ahead, we did it, because at the end of the day, the scene was a lot of fun, and we'd all worked hard to be there, and we did that scene. But to even be compared to such a big icon like Priyanka Chopra, at the end of the day, I don't see that as comparison somewhere. For me, it's quite inspiring when I see someone like Priyanka Chopra. So she's sort of like an idol to a lot of people in India. And I'm not saying just actors, but I'm saying across the board, because she's literally like a businesswoman who's gone there and who's kind of killing it, and she put
Okay.
India on the map somewhere for all of us. So yeah, I really don't see that as comparison in any sense, but I'm so humbled that people even put my photo next to hers. For me, that also means a great deal to me.
Yeah, yeah. What's coming up next now? What are you looking forward to in 2022? As I was saying, it's a new year now. It's been a great
Right.
year for you, 2021. But thoughts on the year that's coming up now?
I'm really excited about the year that's coming up. I have a very good feeling about it.
Mhm.
And in terms of work, I personally have done one more film with Yash Raj, and that is definitely set to release sometime this year, which is a very important story, and it's something that I've never done before. It's a
Okay.
different look and feel of the film. It's a different genre. So I think I'm really excited to kind of showcase that side of my skills to people.
Okay. Well, and how's it been like, with the YRF family? As you're saying, they've really made you feel like home. You've
Yeah.
done your second film already with them. So how's it
Yes.
been like with YRF?
Uh, it's really one of the biggest blessings that I have received, and truly because, like I said, it's difficult to maneuver around this industry if you don't know, if you're not from this industry, you know. And I think that there are so many people. There's an entire team at YRF who sits with you, kind of, explains you, and all of these people want what's best for you. So imagine so many people looking out for you in an industry which is unknown to you. So I think it does become like a family, and it is a huge blessing to be a part of an organization like this.
Okay. Last question. Is it true that you're looking forward to working with Aditya Roy Kapoor? He is your dream co-star. I read somewhere.
That actually that interview was about who do you think you look best next to in a film, and I said Aditya Roy Kapoor, and yeah, why not? He's a great actor. He's been doing some great action films, and I would love to be a part of an action film.
Okay. So with Aditya Roy Kapoor, anyone else? You obviously said Aditya Roy then, and it hit the headlines. So anyone
Yes.
else who you would like to work with?
I always say that I really like to work with Ranveer because he, in fact, inspired me a lot when I was working as an assistant director, and just to watch him perform was something I truly kind of learned so much from.
Okay.
So I always say Ranveer, but I must also say Deepika, and if Priyanka Chopra is doing another film, because that whole set of Bajirao Mastani was like everyone was like with their A game, and like for us as assistants, we were just looking at them perform so well. So I hope I get to work with Priyanka Chopra and Deepika Padukone someday.
Fantastic. Okay. Well, we certainly wish that comes true very soon. But thank you
Thank
so
you.
much, Sharvari, for joining us, and all good wishes for the year ahead.
Thank you so much. Thank you. Bye bye.
Thank you. Bye bye. Take care.
Our next guest for the day is co-founder of Eupheus Learning, Amit Kapoor. He has over 19 years of experience in business development, sales, as well as marketing. He also runs an educational technology firm aiming to bridge the gap between in-class and at-home learnings by offering pedagogical, differentiated, technology-led solutions in this K-12 space. Take a look.
Aiming to bridge the gap between in-class and at-home learning,
Eupheus is a Greek word, stands for willingness to learn.
he aims to reach 10 million children in India.
More than 4 million students use our solutions, and all this is in a span of 4.5 years.
NewsX India A-list proudly recognizes Amit Kapoor for excellence in education and learning.
Hello and a very warm welcome to NewsX A-list. Today I'm joined by Mr. Amit Kapoor. He's the founder of Eupheus Learning. A very warm welcome to NewsX, sir.
Thank you so much, Richa, for having us here.
Amit, before we talk about the journey, the further plans about the brand, tell us what does Eupheus stand for?
So, Eupheus is a Greek word, stands for willingness to learn. And that also showcases our philosophy of willingness to learn and integrate and take the students of India into 21st century by unlearning what we have been doing for long and adopting the new normal.
That is what is most needed. And I'm glad that people like you are coming ahead and doing so. So tell us more about the largest school-focused distribution platform in India.
Sure. So I think the Eupheus and school distribution platform go hand in hand from a perspective of we are an edtech company. The intention has been, how can you integrate what is being taught inside the classroom to what a student learns at home.
Okay.
Now, if you look at it, a lot of times there are two distinct silos. Whatever is being taught in the classroom, a student goes home, and there is a disconnect between what actually happened in the classroom.
Yes.
And a parent or a consumer company would try to help that out, not knowing what's happening in the classroom.
Mm-hmm.
Especially for young kids, it becomes very difficult.
Yes.
To try to understand and connect the dots between what was taught in classroom and what's being explained at home, right?
Yes.
So our intention has been to integrate both solutions together, have one platform where we can empower a teacher inside a classroom.
Okay.
Because if you can create an impact inside the classroom, you'll not be impacting one kid, you'll be impacting 50, 100,000 kids at one go. And in this interplay, from a school distribution perspective, we don't want to do everything on our own.
Okay.
If we can have like-minded partners from across the world joining hands with us, we provide access to 20,000 schools today.
All right.
Now, for any school which is looking out for best-in-breed content, whether for curricular requirement, which is aligned to, say, CBSE or ICSE, or looking for 21st century skills like reading, collaboration, STEM, we become one platform offering best-in-breed from both.
So would you consider this is the real USP that your brand holds?
I would say USP is more about offering that convenience to a school, parent and teacher and student, having a very large catalog of solutions which they can pick and choose, modular in nature. What we believe is if we can offer that choice as a one format, one provider, and they have the ability to pick and choose. You are giving them convenience of working with one trusted partner like Eupheus.
Absolutely. So how does it work? If you could explain it for our viewers so that they can understand it better, how does it work?
So let's take an example of school ABC. Gets the option to pick and choose math, science, English, or any subject area where we will provide a solution which not only is in alignment with CBSE or ICSE, on top of it, skills related to that subject are also integrated, like for computer science coding, for maths, manipulatives, for English, a spoken English software to improve pronunciation of kids. So what we are trying to do, integrate skills along with the curricular requirement so that it becomes engaging and the learning outcomes are farly superior compared to a normal curricular offering.
That's excellent. So how has the journey been so far for the brand?
So we are blessed. When we started the company, a unique part is 44 team members started Eupheus together, bootstrapped. We put in our hard-earned savings to start Eupheus as a company. That itself is very unique. And today we are present in more than 6,500 schools across India and Middle East. More than 4 million students use our solutions, and all this is in a span of 4.5 years.
Excellent. And so if I would ask, as you're available in the Middle East and India right now, what are the expansion plans? Are you planning to go to other countries? What are you looking at? What would be the acquisitions and expansion plans?
Sure. So I'll break it down into two. On the expansion front, we are looking at how can we go deeper into smaller cities in states where we are present, For example, today we are present in more than 120 cities. We want to take it to the next level, move to affordable private schools.
Okay.
So that the transformation is much more higher, or the impact is higher.
So, Mr. Kapoor, if you could tell us, so do you consider that these are the USPs of your brand, and or something else that makes you actually different from the rest? And how does Eupheus work?
So I would say USP is being an omni-channel platform, providing integrated solutions, which a school can pick and choose according to their need. So there are two schools next to each other in a particular city may have very different requirement.
Yes.
But if you have a large catalog which can cater to multiple pedagogies, for example, a school may opt for English, which is a very traditional style of learning English, the way we learned when we were in school.
Yes.
Or it could be a new style of conversational approach where kids learn more from a conversational point of view, right? So our objective has been, how can you curate solutions, age appropriate, and give that optionality or modularity to a school.
Yes.
To pick and choose what they want.
And how does this work? If you could, help make our viewers understand that better.
So look at it like a school ABC, which wants to adopt maths or science. We not only offer them choice of pedagogy for that subject area.
Okay.
We also integrate, for example, manipulatives and math lab for maths, so that a student gets exposed to much more interactivity and more skill-based focus on learning that concept. Or in English, how can you improve your spoken English?
Oh, excellent. So it's so if I can rightfully say, it's taking it a step ahead than actually how you would just do it in school. Would that be a better way of understanding it?
Rather than that, I would say we are empowering schools and teachers so that they can teach better and students can learn better.
Absolutely. A new way of learning is always appreciated. And with changing times, as you mentioned so many times, 21st century way of learning is very important. Something else I really want to ask you is, how's Eupheus Learning leveraging technology, and how's it enabling you especially to tap into newer avenues and, in turn, actually increase the revenue?
Sure. So I think technology should be looked as an enabler.
Absolutely.
How it can make life easier of the entire ecosystem, whether it is the school administrator, the principal, teacher, student, or parent. So what we have done, we have launched a school operating system.
Okay.
A single platform where schools can conduct live classes. Everything automated. So for example, my attendance is automatically done when kids attend the class.
Oh, excellent.
Communication to parents is happening via the same platform or app. Homework, test, assignment, content, consumption is happening on the same platform. If we take a step back, before this OS, schools were struggling with multiple platforms. One for taking a class, second for a traditional ERP,
yes,
third to communicate to parents, fourth of somewhere else where they would be consuming content. We have integrated everything at one place. Again, offering that convenience that we always look at the first requirement to partner with a school. And we are getting fantastic response because with advent of technology and so many apps, it is becoming difficult for teachers, parents, and students to log on into.
Absolutely. I would take it from you. Absolutely, that technology is there to make things easier. But at this point in time, I feel people are overcrowded with technology also. So, work like what you are doing, simplifying and making it more convenient is what is actually needed. Before I let you go, I really want to ask you, what is the impact of NEP in education?
So this is very close to our heart. When we started the company 4.5 years back, we were probably the first ones talking about 21st century skills to be actively integrated inside the classroom. And the new education policy, which was introduced last year, talks about 21st century skills.
Yes.
4.5 years back, we talked about how can we integrate curricular and supplemental areas together to make it encourage students to learn better. The new education policy is talking about removing that boundary of curricular and co-curricular. So what we started 4.5 years back, a lot of it has got validated with the new education policy. And heartening to see schools resonating with what we are trying to do.
Mr. Kapoor, I would like to leave you at this thought, and for my viewers also, that visionaries are the people who change the change that is required. And in you, I see a visionary, and in your company, what you brought about 4.5 years ago is the change that we're looking for right now. So it's great that you created this platform and helping children, especially, get educated in the 21st century format. Thank you so much for speaking to NewsX, and continue with your good work.
Thank you so much, Richa, for having us here.
Thank you.
And our next guest for the day is founder and educator of Niraya Education, Nayaka Sayal. She's an educator helping children with special needs. She started a business during the COVID-19 pandemic. Take a look.
With an aim to help children with special needs,
she said, just go for it, and I said, okay, let's start it. So actually, Niraya has only happened during the pandemic.
She started her initiative during the pandemic.
This really picked up during the pandemic, and it's still highly in demand.
NewsX India A-List proudly recognizes Nayaka Sayal for excellence in social entrepreneurship.
Hello and a very warm welcome to NewsX A-List. Today I'm joined with Nayaka Sayal. She is the founder and educator at Niraya Education. A very warm welcome to NewsX.
Thank you so much, Richa. Thank you so much.
Tell me something. Tell me, before we talk about the journey, because before we talk about the good cause that you're working for, it is important to know the reason behind starting. So tell us about what actually happened. What happened when you decided to start Niraya Education? How many years back was that, and how has the journey been so far?
So Richa, honestly, Niraya actually started just recently during the pandemic, when there was a transition between, offline and online education. And that's when I actually tapped the need. I felt that, there is a need to bridge the gap in the special needs sector. And of course, online education works in a lot of ways for many children, but for many children, it doesn't. Yes. So when it comes to this transition is when Niraya actually happened. And I've been into education for 8 years now. And starting with my Montessori degree, which is, general education. Special education attracted me after that. Very fortunate to have, a mother who's also been driven by passion. She was a golfer for the country. So she said, just go for it, and I said, okay, let's start it. So actually, Niraya has only happened during the pandemic, 2019.
Starting something during a pandemic, I would say I'm used to startups starting during the pandemic. So this is a startup in a very different way.
Yes.
So the impact of the pandemic must have been positive for the reason for you starting it during this time?
Yes, that's right. That's absolutely right. The pandemic has been positive because, this service for education was required door to door. And that is exactly what we do at Niraya Education. Apart from special needs children, we cater to general education as well.
Okay.
And this really picked up during the pandemic, and it's still highly in demand.
Absolutely, because schools are yet not open and people are looking towards online education. A lot of understanding and awareness between parents have come. That's where I want to ask a few things, because you have some very interesting facilities at Niraya Education. Can you elaborate about them for our viewers?
Sure. So at Niraya, we provide education door to door for special needs children, of course, as I mentioned before. Apart from this, we are into employment for special needs adults, so after school, when they're already educated, what do they do? What's next? So adding value to their life, making them more confident about themselves so that they feel worthy is what Niraya's main objective is. And very interestingly, we have also got into training special needs children for state and national sport. That is the other thing Niraya does. Yeah.
That's very good. A very important thing that I noticed on your website was parent counseling.
Correct.
And I feel that that is something very important, because at the same point in time when we were trying to educate a special need child, parents are needed to be educated as well. So how does that program work?
So I would say, Richa, recently counseling has really evolved. 10 years ago, people were not open to saying, oh, I have a counselor, or I'm going to a counselor, or I have mental health issues.
Yes.
Thankfully, people have become more open-minded, more flexible, more aware about this. And at Niraya, apart from just counseling special needs parents, we have a unique program which is basically child-centric. Okay. And we focus on the child. So the child who's actually got special needs, we cater to them. So children with ADHD, with autism, with Down syndrome, they can come and actually talk to our experts and to our team about their issues, their perspectives on life, and what they want to do. How about what they want to do in life? It's all pretty much about the children.
That is exactly what I wanted to know from you, because talking about mental health, talking about any kind of disorder is not very common in our country. It's changing.
Absolutely.
Yet the awareness about it is still, I would say we live in very cosmopolitan cities. So the awareness is much more there, but we're still a long way ahead. So how are you planning to bridge this gap, or how are you doing it right now?
So at the moment, we are, we have these ongoing coaching programs for parents as well as for educators. And with our experts and skills, the plan is to tap this and bridge this gap. I saw this opportunity really during the pandemic, because I noticed, of course, being very fortunate to have experienced special education, which was not the plan, but it just happened. And when it did happen and I saw this need, I felt that, these educators around us, caregivers, when we talk about parents, caregivers, as well as children, these three are the main, elements to our ecosystem.
Yes.
And we tap that at Niraya Education. The idea is to train educators, to train caregivers. Today caregivers and educators need to at least be shown this is how to treat a child with special needs. That's and to speak to them the correct language used. So at Niraya, we plan to bridge that gap with the.
How has the response been so far?
Touchwood. The response, Richa, has been good, very positive. Touchwood, and like I said, during the pandemic, I think even better. And now, slowly, as I hear schools will open,
yes,
we have ongoing programs for after school activities. So for children and adults who require vocational skills and vocational training, Niraya is going to offer that as well. And apart from that, we have, as I mentioned, counseling is absolutely unique. It's something that can happen after school as well. So once schools open, I'm sure our classes might be eased out. But we will have our counseling, we'll have our sports element, employment going on. So there's a lot ahead.
Employment is what attracts my attention a lot, because it is very important that people with special needs and especially people who are educated should find some kind of employment, and some who do not have an education also should be able to find some kind of employment. So how are you taking that forward?
So Richa, recently, my co-founder, who is internationally based, Connie Sial, she's the one who's taken this initiative, and we've got very good response. Today, companies like IBM, Wipro, organizations like, you talk about Costa Coffee,
yes.
They all incorporate inclusivity in their corporate strategies.
Yes,
so that is nice. That's a great change. But like I said before, we still need many more open-minded employers. It's definitely changing. The response is positive, I would say. But like I'm saying, we need more. We need much more collaboratively.
So Naika, tell me something. We've been talking about awareness. We've been talking about parent counseling. Something that will help you move forward is about maybe some policies by the government, some programs to be done by the government, which will help your sector a lot more. What kind of request would you have from the government when it comes to policy making in such sectors?
Good question, Richa. So I definitely think any education institution needs the support of the government. And if at all Niraya Education or, NGOs or any institutions that are for the special needs sector specifically, we definitely need support from the government. For example, I'll give you a very realistic example. Technology is something that we require in special needs schools. And many times we don't receive it because of the affordability. So I'm not talking about private schools, and I'm not taking any names. But when we talk about even government schools, has technology really reached even general education? Forget special education, even general education. Technology is something that all schools across our country, I don't think it's really reached there. That's one example. Other example is training of teachers. When we look back at the Rehabilitation Act of 1992, where the government had actually said, and emphasized on standardized procedures and training for special educators. Again, when we look at small cities and even metropolitan, does every school in the country really have a special section? Are we teachers really sensitized towards to special children? I don't think so. So that is a gray area, and I think the government can give us some attention in this area and address these needs, and bridge the gap.
Because that is something you've pointed out very well, and we hope that the government takes notice of this, and you continue doing your great work.
Thank you so much.
It's very important, and it's great to see that in bad times like the pandemic, something good comes out of it. Thank you so much for speaking to NewsX, and continue doing your great work.
Thank you so much, Richa.
Let's now turn to our next guest joining us on the broadcast. We are going to now be joined by actors Tahir Raj Bhasin, Shweta Tripathi Sharma and Aanchal Singh. They are starring in the new series Ye Kaali Kaali Aankhein, which is streaming on Netflix India. Take a look.
Best known for their prolific acting,
it's a reimagination of the title to mean those dark eyes. So what it really symbolizes from Vikrant's point of view is the dark power structure that's constantly watching over him.
the star in the new series Ye Kaali Kaali Aankhein on Netflix.
Keeping my fingers crossed for that as well, for the world to be a more hygienic and safer place so that we can experience and live more.
They talk about their work, experience and more.
Work on things that I really desire to work on.
Okay.
Everybody has dreams.
NewsX India A-list proudly recognizes Tahir Raj Bhasin, Shweta Tripathi Sharma and Aanchal Singh for excellence in acting and entertainment.
Hello and welcome. I'm Pratap Singh. You're joining us on this special interview as part of our NewsX A-list series. We're in conversation today with the lead stars of the new Netflix series Ye Kaali Kaali Aankhein. Welcome all of you, and thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you.
Thanks for that.
For having us.
Let me begin with you first, Shweta. Firstly, that's your title has a very musical ring to it. Ye Kaali Kaali Aankhein, because we've of course all heard it in the song. Do you believe it's an apt title? It encapsulates what your series' underlying layers are.
So earlier I was not fully convinced about it, and we tried to talk Siddhartha out of this and choosing something else. But I'm so glad that we did not change it, because I think it's perfect. It's everything that आपको ये काली काली आंखें सुन के जो दिमाग में आता है, जो याद आता है, जो recall उसकी value है. Our show is everything that and more, because it's potent. It's how love should be. It has all elements. It has it's a roller coaster ride that the audience is going to have, and they will be doing throughout.
Yeah, while watching, no doubt. Tahir, you played, of course, dark characters before, but at least from the trailer that all our viewers have seen, it seems that Aanchal and her family in the series are actually the ones with those dark shades. But what was it, that attracted you to the project? What was it about your role or about the entire series that convinced you?
Sure. Vikrant, the character I play, I would actually say is one of the softest parts I've done in terms of being a romantic at heart. This is just an ordinary man in extraordinary circumstances. He has simple dreams of living in a small town with the love of his life, played by Shweta Tripathi. And he wants just to have the perfect life in a small town with the girl of his dreams in a perfect job. And all of this is put into a whirlwind when this girl from a powerful political family is passionately, obsessively in love with him. And it was the idea of romance as a genre, first of all, which is something I've never done. And the fact that you're going to be having that dynamic with not one, but two beautiful and talented actresses. And it's the conflict. It's like, like the director, Siddharth Sen Gupta explained to me, he said, we've often seen portrayals of what do you do when a power structure is against you, but what do you do when it's obsessively in love with you? And so that is really, and just to circle back to your original question of Ye Kaali Kaali Aankhein, for me it really works because it's a reimagination of the title to mean those dark eyes. Yeah. So what it really symbolizes from Vikrant's point of view is the dark power structure that's constantly watching over him.
True. Anshul, what convinced you? And as Tahir said, it's quite interesting because normally you have the system after you. Here the system is in love with you, but you're still running away,
That's up to the character of Vikrant. How does he want to take it? But talking as Purva right now, I have sincerely been in love with the guy, and all I want to do is be with him and give him a beautiful life. So it's just up to him how he takes it.
What's wrong with that exactly? What's wrong with that?
I mean, obviously, if you are not going to accept it, then I'm going to find other ways to, make you part of my life. But the first way is always a nice way, and the second way is something
subtle thread there.
And you just said, while talking to Tahir that you see Purva playing a dark shade, like me playing a dark shade.
Yes.
What's really beautiful about this character is that apart from playing a dark shade, I think it has so many other shades to this character that I played, and dark is one of them. But by the end of the series, I want people to feel that what such deep love for Vikrant that compelled her to do certain things or twist events around his life or her life. So that's how I see it, and this is how I want people to see it. And the experience has been honestly so amazing working with Tahir and working with Shweta. We had a really great time, and though we were shooting in very difficult times, and we were managing during the pandemic, but I'm glad that it's seeing the light today, and very, very soon we'll be in front of you all on
No doubt, yes. We have to thank you, for entertaining us in our lockdowns and in our situations like this, because I think you through OTT platforms have really provided a lot of sanity to people and entertainment to people. And in OTT series you can really flesh out your characters. You're saying there's so many layers, and it all does come out. And you've tasted success with on OTT before, of course. And in Mirzapur also there was a lot of violence in terms of action, and here too there's a lot of action, obviously. And that was also set in a small town. So those are two similarities. But what is different in the character that you play here and in the character that you played there, Shweta?
There is so much love. There is, in Shikha's life is full of love. Before, obviously, there was a storm that we all faced. But that was the driving force. In Mirzapur, or in fact, I've played a lot of characters which are from Banaras. मतलब चाहे वो मसान हो, चाहे वो मिर्जापुर हो, and in fact these other shows that also I'm doing, and that is what the fun part is, because if your character, one is from Bombay, one is from Delhi, one is from Coorg, तो आप उतना research करके, but यहाँ तो आपका backdrop, मतलब the city is the same, so then it becomes even more fun because the job is tougher. Because I don't want the characters to have any other similarity except for the fact that I am the one who is playing them. So what I love about Shikha the most is that she's strong in a very different way. I haven't explored any of my characters like this. And love is the driving force, and love is just beautiful. And I really like the fact that ek marne ke liye taiyar hai aur ek marne ke liye taiyar hai. Yeah. And that is the power of love, which I don't think we understand. As human beings, what it can do or how it can just ruin somebody's life.
True. In fact, you spoke about Masan. I was recently in Varanasi. I was telling them I was at this Kashi Film Festival, and there was very prominently displayed over there. All the posters of the film which have been based in Varanasi. So Masan, of course, was very prominently displayed there as well. But just a couple of questions before we sign off now. We are, of course, in a new year, but I have to, in fact, quickly before we get to 2022 questions, Tahir, congratulate you on 83's success. I think it's just crossed the 100 crore mark domestically as well. So congrats on that.
Congratulations.
Thank you so much.
What is your first reaction? How is the love been, and was it worthwhile? Because it was quite a wait to get the film out for the public.
Absolutely, 110%, because it is a film that was made for the big screen to be enjoyed in that fashion. And when I was at the premiere of that film, I had the immense privilege of watching it with the original 83 players. And just that moment of, I've been working for a few years now. I've never been to a premiere of a film where the entire industry comes together to back it. And when I say industry, I mean the South, the industry from the South, the industry from Punjab and from Bombay and Bengal come together. And we had massive celebrities from all of them. And I think that had to do not only with the fact that this was the one big film that was bringing the audience back to the theater, but also for what an iconic moment in our history the film is.
True. Aanchal, we're in a new year. Did you make a New Year resolution at the start of the year? Are you sticking to it, or are you not someone who makes New Year resolutions?
I honestly don't believe in New Year resolutions. The reason being that I think a good start can happen anytime. And so, I try to have a good start. In fact, every day I wake up in the morning and I say, thank you, God, for everything. But these are the things, and please, look at my list. So obviously, in this year, I'm so not used to even saying it. It's 2022, right?
Yes, last I checked.
I'm somehow still stuck to 2020 for some reason, I never said 2021 also properly, but 2022 I'll remember. So in this year, first, obviously, I want that, we should have make a great success for Ye Kaali Aankhein. And from thereafter, I should be able to, work on things that I really desire to work on. Everybody has dreams, so I
hope those dreams come true in 2022. Same question, Shweta. Anticipations for 2022. How's the year looking like for you?
Looks great. I just want to be healthier, wealthier, and wiser. And by wealthier, not just, of course, in terms of money, but not just in terms of money, more so in terms of experience. Being on set is something I've really missed. Traveling is something I've really missed. I'm sure all of us have. So keeping my fingers crossed for that as well, for the world to be a more hygienic and safer place so that we can experience and live more. Tahir,
last word to you. Your thoughts on 2022? As I said, you started it with a bang. You've got Ye Kaali Aankhein. All of you have got Ye Kaali Aankhein now. But for the rest of the year?
Just to get more incredible parts and stories to tell. And if there's one thing the past 2 years have taught us, it's the importance of the valuable things in life, the things that we often overlook. Close family, close friends, travel, good food, meeting in an environment like that, to have more opportunities to cherish things like that.
Great. Well, wishing you all a great 2022. And firstly, wishing you all the best for Ye Kaali Aankhein. Let's hope it's a success on Netflix once it's up. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
And our final guest for the day is the partner of Hotel Raj Kuber, Rajveer Singh Jhala. He runs a family-run hotel business. He successfully is running 3 hotels in Udaipur, Rajasthan. Take a look.
Continuing his father's legacy and business.
The whole concept came up with our ancestral home, which is in our village. So we've designed all our properties.
He successfully manages 3 hotels in Udaipur.
So a lot of our guests are attracted due to the swimming pool and the open restaurants we have at the hotel.
NewsX India A-List proudly recognizes Rajveer Singh Jhala for excellence in hospitality.
Hello and welcome. I'm Uday Pratap Singh. You're joining us on NewsX A-List. We're in conversation today on our special series with Rajveer Singh Jhala. He's partner Raj Group of Hotels. Welcome, Rajveer. Thank you for joining us today on NewsX.
Thank you, Uday. It's my pleasure.
Let me just begin by asking you to tell me a bit about the Raj Group of hotels. Tell us a bit about how the group was established, and what separates you from other properties in Rajasthan.
Okay, actually, my father comes from a education background. He was principal B in college. So we started with the hotel. My father started with the hotel in '85. So our residence, the Haveli, Jadol Haveli, he started with 3 or 4 rooms back then, and then slowly, because that was the time when Udaipur was picking up as a major tourist destination. So he started with 4 or 5 rooms. Then it became a 25-room property by 1990. So that was the Raj Palace is the parent property. Then we came up with a small guest house in near Lake Pichola, which is a 4-bedroom guest house. And then Raj Kuber is the newest property in the group. And Raj Kuber started in 2015. So Raj Kuber is again a 25-room property. So mostly the whole concept came up with our ancestral home, which is in our village. So we've designed all our properties on with the basis of our residence in the village, and we designed all 3 properties according to that.
Okay,
which gives the same essence.
Yeah. Let's talk a bit about now each of the properties. So let's begin with the newest hotel, Raj Kuber. Tell us a bit about it, Rajveer. What led to starting of this newest property in 2015? Do you believe it's the most modern also of your properties? And what's its uniqueness?
So both the properties, Raj Palace and Raj Nivas, these 2 properties fall in the old city.
Okay.
And so we came up with Raj Kuber because we were totally dependent on European tourists, which mostly stay in the old city. So we came up with Raj Kuber, which is on a hillock, and which is more accessible by car, bus, everything. And that's a big problem the old city faces, the commute. So at Raj Kuber, we planned it accordingly so that we targeted the Indian domestic tourists so that they can easily access the hotel, and we could give them the same heritage Renaissance kind of a feel at our new property, but it matches with the old city as well.
And also, of course, you have a pool on the top, the rooftop of the hotel. Is that one of the most popular aspects of the hotel that brings you a lot of guests to sit out, etc.?
Actually, it does. It makes a lot of difference because Raj Kuber, as of now, in the city, it's on the highest point in the city. So we've got 3 different terraces, 2 for the restaurant and 1 for the pool, and which is also a lounge. So a lot of our guests are attracted due to the swimming pool and the open restaurants we have at the hotel.
Okay, Raj Palace, of course, as you said, was the first hotel of your group. It was a parent property. It expanded slowly. Was it because of the popularity of it that your father and your family decided to expand it from 3 or 4 rooms to over 15 now?
So he started with 5 rooms, but as every year by year, we were having a shortage of rooms in the old city as well, Udaipur as a whole, because the market has been increasing year by year till COVID had stopped us. But so we started with 5 rooms then we came up to 15 rooms, then 20, and then Raj Palace is now a 25-room hotel. Raj Kuber itself is a 25-room hotel, and then Raj Nivas is a 4-room property. So in total, we have a 54-room inventory, including all 3 hotels.
Okay. What led to Raj Nivas? As you said, it's a very small boutique property. What led to its creation, and what is its uniqueness?
So it was a very small land we had in the old city. The area is called Lalghat on Lake Pichola. So my father planned to not make a restaurant or something like that, which was the initial idea. But he had the idea of bringing up 3 suite rooms, big size suite rooms, and it's a B&B, bed and breakfast only. We do not run a restaurant over there, but that is what my father thinks is the best business he's ever done, because those 3 rooms are occupancy wise are the best property. Occupancy wise, that's the best property we have.
Okay. Okay.
Out of all the 3.
Were any of these 3 also ancestral properties of yours?
Yes,
your ancestors, did they also live in any of these 3 properties?
So we come from Jadol. It's 50 kilometers from Udaipur, and Raj Palace is the name of the hotel. Otherwise, the Haveli is called Jadol Haveli. It's our residence, and that's the ancestral property. It's a 400-year-old Haveli, and our family has been living there since.
Okay. Okay. And what led you to join the group? Were you always interested in hotel management? Is this something you always wanted to do? What led you to get involved?
Actually, no, I haven't done any professional hotel management course or anything as such. I'm a hotelier by force, not by choice, I would say. But being born and brought up in a hotel made me realize that I was very much. I knew everything I had to about the hotel after I finished my college. I did history honors, by the way. I was in DU. When I came back, my first and only passion is polo. So I'm a horse trainer as well. So I wanted to play polo only. That was the only goal. But after a year, I realized that it comes at a cost. So I had to take care of the hotels as well.
Okay.
And my father and I have a very big age gap. So by the time I finished my college, came back to Udaipur, he was retired. He was almost 65 years old till the time I came back. So I had to take care of the hotels along with my elder brother, Tejveer.
Okay. Okay. And as you're saying, your passion is polo. So do you try and balance both still?
Although we started with a small ground, my cousin Viram Dev Singh, he owns a hotel as well, Chunda Palace. So he came up with a polo ground and a shooting range in Udaipur itself, which is a start for Udaipur. So we started playing back again after 5 or 6 years after school. So we play here, and whenever time allows, we go for tournaments either in Jaipur or Jodhpur, whenever the work allows.
Yes. Okay. Final question then to Rajveer. As you said earlier, you were catering mainly to foreign tourists until, of course, COVID happened. So was COVID a big, was it damaging for your business? Was it tough for you all? And how did you reinvent yourself in this post-COVID world?
Actually, it was a major blow. For past 2 years, all the hoteliers have been struggling. Not only the hoteliers. Actually, we are very fortunate that we have other businesses as well, apart from hotel. Like we're into agriculture as well.
Okay.
So plantation and everything. But the main issue with us was we have 50 employees in total, and these people have been working for us for years. A few of them have been working for 20-25 years for us. So 50 people, and so basically 50 families rely on us, on our business. So we had to start a hotel as soon as the government allowed us to. Although we knew we won't be doing the business and it would be hard paying them the salary, but it was our priority to start the hotel for our employees, firstly and foremost.
Yeah.
Because they had a very bad time during the past 2 years.
Yeah.
And mostly the employees who are doing the minimalistic jobs, like in the kitchen or the room boys, they didn't actually struggle that much because they have other facilities. They're getting something or the other from the government as well.
Yeah.
But the people at the front office or the chef in your cooking team or the service people, these people were actually the people who were struggling because they weren't getting any help from the government, nor they had any other thing to do, and they don't know anything apart from the hotel business.
Yeah.
They've been trained all their life for this business.
To get the hotel up and running as soon as possible. Okay.
Right.
Okay. Well, we leave it at that. Thank you so much, Rajveer, for joining us today on NewsX, and wishing you and the group all the very best.
Thank you.
For more such videos, subscribe to the NewsX YouTube channel, hit the bell icon.